Manuel Bajorquez, thank you. Well, a powerful storm system ripped through the southern and central U.S. over the weekend, packing wind, rain, and even tornadoes. The National Weather Service says a dozen tornadoes were reported Saturday across Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Missouri. Other states experienced extreme flooding that left neighborhoods underwater. The severe weather killed at least 4 people. David Begnaud has more on the destruction.
Oh my goodness.
Across the central and southern U.S., suspected tornadoes mangled cars, flipped RVs, and shredded roofs.
We just turned around and the roof is just gone.
In Mississippi County, Arkansas, a possible tornado tore through the roof of that motel, destroying nearly 24 rooms.
We got in the closet and it was like trying to suck Adam out of it.
Newlyweds Heather Edwards and her husband Adam watched as a barn flew over their house in Robertson County, Tennessee, as a suspected tornado plowed through their property.
We're just lucky to be alive. Everything can be replaced.
The sheriff here in Clarksville, Tennessee, says 8 homes were destroyed and dozens more damaged as 2 tornadoes hit this area. That house was flattened, but among the wreckage, hope. Rescuers worked quickly to remove debris because they saw a dog trapped underneath.
It looks like they've got the dog out.
Just across the Tennessee border in Logan County, Kentucky, 79-year-old Dallas Jane Combs died when her home collapsed on top of her during a tornado. Her husband, John, was outside laying down sandbags. Tammy Brown is their daughter.
It took the roof off. It sucked him back through the basement.
The Combs would have celebrated 60 years of marriage in just a few months.
All he can tell me is the love of my life is gone, and I can't live by myself because I've never been by myself.
David Begnaud is in Clarksville, Tennessee. That's just northwest of Nashville. David, if I didn't know any better, I would think you were standing in front of a house that was under construction, like a house that had not been completed yet.
Right. This is where an EF2 tornado hit, Anne-Marie. So winds, we're talking about 125 miles per hour. Most of the roof is gone. You've got this side wall that blew out and then windows that were blowing out all over the neighborhood. What fascinates me every time I cover a tornado is how you've got one home like this that's badly damaged, and then next door you may have a home that's untouched. Tornadoes hopscotch through neighborhoods. In the distance there, you've got that house, the roof is gone. On the next door, you've got half the roof missing and the back portion is blown out. But there's a brown house with a black roof in the distance, untouched, no damage. And then check this out. Can you imagine the wind and the power that it took to do this to the hood? Anne-Marie, the man who owns this truck, owned it for 4 hours. His wife hadn't even seen it. She heard about it, but hadn't even had a chance to get home and check out his new truck before the tornado did that.
My goodness, it looks like it's been peeled back like a tin can or something like that. Listen, you mentioned
and look at how it's covered in insulation. I mean, this is the case all over the place. Windows blown out. I mean, so many of the vehicles in this area badly damaged. It's just fascinating, the force of Mother Nature. And by the way, I may add, we just finished the longest stretch without a death from a tornado. So this was the longest period, May of last year until Saturday night when this tornado happened. It was the longest stretch, the National Weather Service says, where there were no tornado-related deaths.
Oh, man. Well, it's unfortunate that that stretch has come to an end. Did people get much warning? You know, you mentioned these winds of 120 miles per hour. Were people able to find shelter?
Right. So in some pockets, we were told no. In fact, some people living in this area say there was no warning. Now, the National Weather Service and other weather outlets had been warning people that there was a threat of severe weather. But Anne-Marie, it's so interesting how these tornadoes will just pop up in an area. So you could be watching the news and you could hear your local broadcaster say, okay, this area is under a tornado warning, but then a tornado could pop up 2 or 3 miles away, right? Outside of that warning zone, and just sort of pop up like this. So some folks complained they had no warnings, but in other places there was advance warning. And look, when it comes to a tornado, 5 minutes can make a difference. In fact, one of the public information officers here at the Sheriff's Department said to me, hey, did y'all hear the story about the family in the home? And I said, no. And she said, there was a family that took shelter in a bathtub. Their home was destroyed. Everything around them was blown out, but they were not hurt. They were okay in that tub. And remember, the tub is always a good place to go if you're looking for shelter in a tornado.
Well, you know, that's one thing about these tornado incidents is that there are always stories like that that remind you of there can be greatness within all this chaos, that Mother Nature can be cruel but also compassionate. David Begnaud in Tennessee, thank you very much, David.
Yeah.